हाँ जी, अपन ने अभी तक सिंक्रोनस मशीन का पहला लेक्चर लिया था। सिंक्रोनस मशीन का फर्स्ट लेक्चर अपना हो चुका है। आप इसके थ्रू गो थ्रू हो गए होंगे। यदि नहीं हुए हैं तो सिंक्रोनस मशीन का पहला लेक्चर आप गो थ्रू हो जाइएगा और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा। यदि कर लिया है तो इट्स गुड, वेल एंड गुड। आपको सिंक्रोनस मशीन के बेसिक्स आपको फर्स्ट लेक्चर में थोड़ा मिलेगा। उसके अलावा सेकंड जो पार्ट है बेसिक्स का वो इसके सेकंड लेक्चर में मिलेगा। सिंक्रोनस मशीन बहुत ही अच्छी मशीन है, बहुत स्मार्ट मशीन है। सिंक्रोनस मशीन के बारे में जितनी जानकारी आपको होनी चाहिए, जितना इजी है स्टडी में, टीचिंग में है, जितना इजी है लर्निंग और अंडरस्टैंडिंग में है, उतनी कोई और दूसरी मशीन नहीं हो सकती। जबकि एक जो अवधारणा क्या है, लोग क्या मानते हैं, ऐसे थॉट्स बनी हुई है कि सिंक्रोनस मशीन टिपिकल मशीन अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड एक्सप्लेनिंग। Definitely you are not learning, you know that not learned well, then you cannot explain well. So I know the synchronous machine very well, so I can explain it very well in very simplest way. So definitely in my lecture you can understand synchronous machine fundamentally well, and after go through my lectures definitely you can learn the synchronous machine very well. आप मेरे लेक्चर के थ्रू जो हो जाएगा, मुझे 22 इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट और फैकल्टीज को ट्रेनिंग देता रहा हूं मैं, पढ़ाने का उनको और उनके करियर अपलिफ्टमेंट करने का सिंक्रोनस मशीन्स के बारे में। पहला अपना जो लेक्चर था उसमें अपने सिंक्रोनस मशीन की फंडामेंटल, सिंक्रोनस मशीन का इक्विवेलेंट सर्किट डायग्राम, सिंक्रोनस मशीन का फेजर डायग्राम और सिंक्रोनस मशीन के रोटर एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू रोटर सिंक्रोनस मशीन को दो पार्ट में दो टाइप में डिवाइड किया जाता है। सिंक्रोनस मशीन सिलेंड्रिकल रोटर सिंक्रोनस मशीन और सेलेंट पोल सिंक्रोनस मशीन। तो ऐसे करके पहला लेक्चर आप उसके गो थ्रू होंगे तो डेफिनेटली उन दोनों के डिफरेंस को आप अंडरस्टैंड कर पाएंगे। आज के जो लेक्चर है उसमें उसके आगे के पोर्शन को अपन डिस्कस करेंगे। फिर भी मैं कुछ ब्रीफ आपको कर देता हूं जिससे आपको बहुत वेल यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द सिंक्रोनस मशीन। सो सिंक्रोनस मशीन में आप यदि देखें तो दो टाइप की होती है सिंक्रोनस मशीन। ये वैसे तो फर्स्ट लेक्चर में कवर किया जा चुका है, बट आई कैन एक्सप्लेन दिस। So this is stator. Stator means the outer part of the synchronous machine, that is known as stator, and that remains stationary, and it is it is enclosed by the yoke, and it is a stationary one, stay with the mechanical supports. Okay, and it having the winding. Stator having the winding in the synchronous machine, that is known as armature winding, which is three-phase winding. It is distributed winding. So it is three-phase distributed winding houses on the stator of the synchronous machine. So three-phase distributed winding for the 2 pole, it may be the 4 pole, it may be 6 pole, it may be the 8 pole, it may be the 10 pole. So if we are to wind 2 pole, then winding ones A, B, C are placed one. If we are winding 4 pole, then A, B, C twice. Then if we are placing, if in a machine, this is the A, B and C. Winding are placed once. It is 2 pole machine. It is 2 pole. And A, B, C. It is 2 pole machine, it is 4 pole machine, it is the 6 pole, then A, B, C. Thrice. The combination of A, B, C gives the one winding. You know that in between A and B there is a C dash, then between A and this B and C there is a dash, and here after the C and A there is a B dash. So after in between A and B there is a C dash, then B dash, B and C there is a dash, B dash, C dash, A dash. Here the C dash, A dash, B dash, C dash, A dash, B dash, C dash, A dash. B dash, like this. So in this way we can have the winding that is there. And if you want to go in detail with the armature winding, AC winding, so I have the 4 lectures. So you can go through the 4 lectures. There the videos, there the YouTube lectures are available. So you'll go the AC winding lectures, and then definitely you can understand very well. You are taking the first and second lecture, even though you can understand, and you want to find out the frictional paste, frictional slot, short pitch winding and all that, then you have to go to the third one lecture. So by taking the 3 lecture, you can understand very well how we can house the winding. So here, suppose that we want to design the 4-pole machine. So there is the A dash, A dash. This is the A. Then now the B will start from here, B, and this is the B dash. Here the B dash. Then after A there is a B dash. Then B, then B dash. And the C conductor will place on here. After the B there is a C. This is the C, and here the C dash. Here the C. Here the C dash. So this is the ABC. This is the ABC, twice. ABC are phases are placed twice. So the machine is 4-pole machine. And if the rotor of the machine also should have the 4 poles. So rotor should have the 4 poles. So the 1 pole over here, other pole over here, third pole over here, and 4 pole over here. So it is 4-pole machine. It is 4 poles like this. Yeah. So this is the 4-pole machine. So this is the N pole, this is the S pole, this is the N pole, and this is the S pole. So N pole, S pole, N pole, and S pole. So the 4-pole machines. So in this way, we will have 4-pole synchronous machine. The stator having 4 number of poles and rotor having 4 number of poles. Stator having 4 number of poles as well as the rotor having 4 number of poles. In a synchronous machine, stator and rotors both are designed for the same number of poles. The stator having 3-phase winding, but the rotor having the windings that is on DC winding. DC winding will be housed on the rotor. So one the winding or here, and then the second part the opposite directional winding or here, then the clockwise winding here, then the anti-clockwise winding over here, and this is the way the winding is mounted on the rotor. Rotor is DC excited, so synchronous machine is normally doubly excited machine. It is normally a doubly excited machine. So okay. So this is the basics, and this is also covered in the first lecture. So I am taking the brief of that one only. Now we are taking the second lecture, that is how we can find out the operating equation and how we can find out the torque and power characteristic, power and angle characteristic of the synchronous machine. That I am taking the basics of that, the equivalent circuit diagram. That is the DC excitation. DC excitation, it is placed on the rotor, and rotor is moved with the prime mover. It is the prime mover here. Here the prime mover, so rotor is moved with the prime mover, and a 3-phase winding over here, 3-phase winding over here on the stator, or that 3-phase winding is give the supply to the load. So the load may be the 3-phase load, it may be the 3-phase load. Okay. So this is the A phase, this is the A phase, this is the B phase, this is the C phase. So A phase should be connected to the A phase, then B phase should be connected to the B phase. So this is the B phase, and C phase should be connected to the C phase only. So this is the C phase. So this is the way. Okay. So whenever the current is passes, when the current is passes, when the rotating magnetic field, when the rotor is rotated with help of the prime mover, when the rotor is rotated with the prime mover, it cross or cut the armature conductors. When it cut the armature conductor, it generates the induced EMF in the armature, and that induced EMF is nothing, it is equals to 2 pi f, that is omega, and kW. Why the kW? Because the winding is distributed winding, so kW is the winding factor. So kW here the winding factor, and omega is the speed. So it is directly proportional to speed. So it is omega n and kW. So this is the value of induced EMF, and phi m, the main flux. Phi m, the main flux. So this is the value. This can be write down 2 pi f and kW into phi m. And if you want to find out the RMS value, this is the maximum value. So you will find out the maximum value by root 2. So by root 2, so it will give the RMS value. So the RMS value is generated voltage, because the AC, and normally AC voltage we are taking the RMS value. So RMS value, and kW and n simultaneously write down, like kW and n can be write down n dash, the effective number of turns, and phi m, main flux. So this is the generated voltage. So generated voltage will generate, and this generated voltage over here, at generated voltage is known as EF. This is the generated voltage over here. And when the generated voltage is connected through a circuit, there is a current, and this current is known as armature current. This armature current flow in a circuit. When the armature current is flow in a circuit, there is armature reaction. In the DC, there is armature reaction. Armature reaction means this is a flux. A flux is generated, and n conductor, the main flux, the voltage passes like this, and flux. So this armature conductor. So the armature conductor produce a flux. Armature conductor produce a flux that is around the conductor, and at the direction of that current is according to the right hand law, and it's opposed, it's opposed. So here the main flux is band. And this flux is band like this one. This main flux is band like this one. The main flux is band like this one. So here why it is band? Because the armature reaction flux is generated like this one. So it oppose at this end and support at this end. So the main flux is shifted like this one. So this shifting is shifting of the angle, that is known as load angle. So this is the main axis. This is known as main axis. And this is the axis will be shifted due to the armature reaction. And angle in between these two is the dial angle, synchronous machine angle. Okay. So here the dial angle, and you can say the stator's poles are lagging behind the rotor's pole. The stator's S pole, here the stator's S pole is formed, and that lagging behind the rotor's pole in case of the generator. In case of the motor, it is leading. Okay. So there is an armature reaction, and our armature reaction can be represented over here in equivalent circuit by a leakage reactance, that is known as XAL, not XAR, armature reaction reactance. And then some flux is leakage, some armature flux is leakage. The whole flux is not passes, stator flux not passes through the rotor, and not rotor flux passes through the stator. So the some flux is leakage, and that leakage flux is represented by a inductor, that is known as XAL, leakage reactance. XAL, leakage reactance. Then winding also get heat up. You know the winding is a copper winding, it is a thick winding also in a synchronous machine, but winding having some of the losses, some of the resistance, that is represented by a resistor. That resistor is known as RA, rotor resistance, stator resistance, RA, armature resistance. So this is the total voltage drop in this circuit. So here the generated voltage is equals to voltage drop across the resistance. You know this is the supplied voltage. Here the voltage comes at terminal voltage. So generated voltage, terminal voltage plus voltage drop across here is IARA plus voltage drop across here, that is JIA, or it is I into JXAL, plus here the voltage drop is IA into JXAR. So J and IA we are taking the common, so that the voltage can be write down. So this EMF equation EF can be write down. EF is equal to VT plus IA RA plus J XAL plus XAR. XAL and XAR jointly write down XS, synchronous reactance. So this equation can be write down EF is equal to VT plus IA RA plus J XSS, synchronous reactance. Leakage reactance plus armature reaction reactance, commonly known as synchronous reactance. And this totally known as the impedance, synchronous impedance. EF is equal to VT plus IA into ZS, synchronous EMF. So this is the basic formula we know. We can write down for the equivalent circuit, and we can draw these are the impedance and resistance in all the circuit. The impedance, and then the resistance, the impedance, and then the impedance, and then the resistance. So here we are not representing all the phases. When we are draw the equivalent circuit diagram, we draw the equivalent circuit diagram of single phase. Okay. So this is the something about the synchronous machine. It is already covered in the first lecture. Okay, so how we can draw the power angle characteristic of a synchronous machine. So that we'll try to cover in this lecture. Power angle characteristic of a synchronous machine. That we'll try to cover in this lecture. So the power angle characteristic, for the power angle characteristic we taking some brief of that phasor diagram. Okay, so in the phasor diagram there is a generated man flux, that is known as rotor flux, man flux, and due to the man flux there is a generated voltage which is lagging 90 degree, that is VT. It is also covered in the first lecture. And there is a current, that is IA, that is the current IA. So there is IARA. We know the EF is equal to IA, VF is equal to VT plus IARA plus ITA IAXSS. IARA is negliged, RA is very less as compared to XS. So this can be taken as a 0. So EF is equal to approximately equals to VT plus IAXSSG. Okay, so this is the way we can easily represent VT plus IAXSS. Okay, so this is the IA, and at the 90 degree of that, this is IAXSS. So this is the value is VT. EF, this is the EF, and this angle is known as del angle, and this angle is known as theta power factor angle. This is known as load angle. So this is the load angle, this is the power factor angle. These two are the angle. This is the VT and this is the IAXS, voltage drop due to reactance of the synchronous machine. So this is the phasor diagram. We know. This is the phasor diagram. In this phasor diagram, if this is the angle theta, this is the angle theta, then this angle also 90 minus theta. This angle is 90 minus theta. So what the value this angle is 90 plus theta. 90 plus theta. And from a triangle, not a right angle triangle, from the property of a triangle, not a right angle triangle, from a property of triangle, we can write down this arm and opposite angle. So EF divided by sine of angle, in front of that sine of 90 plus theta is equals to this arm, that is IA XSS, and angle of that is sine of del. So these two can be write down in this way, that is according to the property of the angle. Okay, so this can be further write down EF sine of del, that is IA XS sine 90 plus theta. Sine 90 plus theta is nothing, it is cos theta. So it is cos theta. And then this XS can be taken over here. So this equation become EF upon XS sine of del is equal to IA cos of theta. Now this equation can be multiplied with Vt both the side. So it is EF Vt upon XS sine of del is equal to Vt Ia cos of theta. Vi cos theta is the power. So this is the power output from a synchronous machine. So this is the power. It means this is also power. So it is power output from a synchronous machine. So this is power equation. This is power equation. It is normally the electrical power. So this is the spatial equation comes out. This is the spatial equation comes out. The power equation is in terms of sine of del. That is in terms of the angle. That angle is known as power angle. So we know the power output and angle. So that characteristic is known as power angle characteristic. So we'll draw the power angle characteristic on the basis of this equation. On the basis of this equation, we can draw the power angle characteristic of the synchronous machine. Power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. Power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. So we are taking, the maximum value of the power when del is equal to 90 degree, and we are taking del angle over here in this axis and draw it is sine wave. So it is sinusoidal sine wave. So this is having the maximum value when the sine del is equal to 90 degree. When del is equal to 90 degree, and here we can also draw in the negative direction. So it is minus sine del. So here del is equal to minus 90 degree. This having the maximum power, but it is negative, minus negative maximum power, and here this is power maximum power positive. This is the maximum power positive and this is the maximum power negative when this del is equal to 90 degree. So if the machine's angle, that del is known as load angle. So as the load angle is increases, means as the load is increases, load angle automatically increasing. As the load is increases, load angle is going to increase, and the load angle is going to increase, the power output from the machine is definitely increases. So the power output is increases. So till the 90 degree value, till the 90 degree of its value, the power is increases. And beyond that, beyond 90 degree, if the power angle is increased, if the load is increased beyond 90 degree, then power output will decrease. So machine become unstable. So this region is known as stable region, stable, and this is unstable. Means after that, if the load angle is increased, load angle is represented like the load. So when the load is increases, the output does not increase, even though it decreases. It decreases means machine cannot fulfill the required load conditions. So machine cannot fulfill the required load. It means machine not operate in the synchronism. It lose its synchronism. It means it lose the stability of the system or stability. So this region beyond this one, synchronous machine should operate below the 90 degree of the angle. The machine is synchronous machine and its operation is in the synchronism, and beyond that it then lose its synchronism because it cannot give the power, whatever the power required by the load. Okay, so it is the power angle characteristic of a synchronous machine. So it is the generator's characteristic, it is the motor's characteristic. Power output is negative means machine takes the power, not gives the power. So it is characteristic of the motor, motoring mode operation, motor, and this is generator. Generator. This is the generating mode operation, that is the motoring mode operation. In this way we can explain the power angle characteristic. This is known as power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. Power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. The power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. This is the way we can explain the easily power, and from that power angle characteristic, normally machine operate at the angle less than 90 degree. Normally machine operate at this particular, suppose that the load angle is this one, it is del 1, machine gives this power, that is P1 output. If the load is increased gradually, then the machine's angle is increased, it becomes Z2, del 2, then it power delivered, that is P2. If the gradually angle is shift, machine generate more power. If suddenly the angle is shifted, then machine oscillate, and that phenomena we will explain in the later, in the next lecture, when we will explain the stability of the machine and its gradually increased load, sudden increase in the load, and stability and dynamics of the machine. On that particular lecture, we will explain how machine takes stability, and there is a equal area criteria also. So from the equal area criteria in power system, we will represent the stability of synchronous machine. If the area is equal, then machine remains in the stable system. If the area is less than that, then machine lose its stability. So that will explain in the equal area criteria in a power system also. In the equal area criteria, stability limits, when they will take the stability topic. So this is the power angle characteristic of synchronous machine. Now we will deal the power output equation, what the real power output and what the reactive power output of a synchronous machine when it is run, and it gives the power current I. Whatever the current its output, what the real power and what the reactive power. And when the motor run, it takes a current. So what the real current and what the real power it taking and what the reactive power it is taking. So that power draw and power supply. We are taking now the power equations. Power equation of synchronous machine. We will try to explain the power equation of synchronous machine. Power equation of synchronous machine. How we can represent it? Here now suppose that there is a machine, it generates the AC power, there is a DC supply and DC supply is excited and it is controlled, whatever it is, there is a separate system and it generates the power, at having the impedances, that is synchronous impedance XS and a resistance RA, okay, and then a terminal voltage VT and its generated voltage is EF and its angle is del. You know this, the angle is 0 degree. Both are differ. You know the generated voltage and terminal voltage are differ in angle. So we are taking the terminal voltage as a reference voltage. You know we are taking the terminal voltage at the reference level. So the generated voltage over here and it is having an angle del, that is we are taking del as a positive angle. So okay, this is, and there is a current means machine supplied the power means there is a current IA. Okay, there is a current IA. Okay, then power output S is equal to terminal voltage VT and its angle is 0 degree into current. Power supply means power output means the voltage into current and phase difference, not the phase difference. So if you are taking the phase difference of two quantity, multiply two quantity and taking the complex conjugate, so the phase will come in phase difference. So current is the voltage EF angle del minus VT and angle 0 divided by Z as an angle theta and its complex conjugate. So this is the power output. So here we can find out the power output is EF VT upon ZS and angle comes out. You know this theta comes out here, it becomes minus theta, but del it gives the plus theta. So the theta minus del. Okay, minus Vt square by Zs and angle is theta. Okay, so if we are taking the two component real power, then cos theta is known as real power. Whatever the angle cos component is real power and sin component is reactive power. So if we are taking the cos component, the real power output from the synchronous alternator, that is EF Vt upon Zs cos of theta minus del minus Vt square upon Zs cos of theta. And you know Zs is equal to Ra plus eta xs, and it is approximately Ra is approximately 0, so it is approximately xs. So xs means its angle, xs is the magnitude and angle is 90 degree. So Zs and angle theta can be write down xs and 90 degree. So theta can be write down 90 degree. So and Zs can be write down xs. So this power equation can be write down. P output can be write down. Power output can be write down. EF Vt upon xs 90 minus del, cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. So sin of del minus Vt square upon xs, and this theta is 90 degree. So cos 90 degree is, this theta is 90 degree. So cos 90 degree is 0. So cos 90 is 0. So this is the real power output. Okay. So it becomes, P output becomes EF Vt upon xs sine of del. This is the equation. This is the equation. Okay. For the reactive power, you will draw or see, write down the equation for reactive power Q. So reactive power is, we are taking the component of this, the sine component. So it is EF Vt upon Zs. If we are writing the real component, then it is the cos component of S. So we are taking the cos component of this theta. It gives the real power, and if you want to taking the reactive power, then taking the whatever this quantity and sine component of this angle, it gives the reactive power. So in this way we can take the real and reactive power from the total power. So that is, this is EF Vt upon Zs, and angle is sine of theta minus del minus Vt upon Zs, and angle is sine theta. Okay, and you know that the Zs can be written down eta xs, so the angle theta becomes 90 degree. So the value of approx value is, can be write down EF Vt upon xs, approx value can be written down Vs, and the sine 90 minus theta is cos theta, so it is cos of del minus Vt, this is the Vt square, this is the Vt square upon xs, and sine 90 degree is 1, so it is 1. So this is the value, this is the reactive power. So there is a two power, active and reactive. There is a two power, active and reactive. So in this way we can represent the active power and reactive power of a synchronous machine. It is very well defined, and now if we will draw the current and synchronous motor. If we are taking the equation for a synchronous, this is the equation for synchronous alternator. This is the equation for synchronous generator. Generator means alternator. Now we will draw the equation for synchronous motor also. So when we will draw the equation for synchronous motor, this current is flow. Now we will draw the equation for synchronous motor. The power input equation, not the power output equation. Power input equation. So the power input equation, power equation for synchronous motor. So in the case of the synchronous motor, it takes the current. This is the IA. Okay, it takes the current. And if we are taking voltage as a reference quantity, terminal voltage, then EF is over here. This is the EF. And this is the del is here, the negative del. Del is here, the negative. So if this EF is not positive, it is minus del. Minus del. So we can write down the equation. So as in, not output, as input power of a synchronous machine is IA, not first we are taking terminal voltage Vt into IA complex conjugate. So Vt into Ia is Vt minus EF minus del divided by Zs and angle theta and complex conjugate. So it is Vt square upon Zs, and angle is minus and minus, it's become plus theta minus Vt EF upon Zs, and angle is this become plus, so theta plus del. So this is the as equation, this is the total equation. Now this total equation can be bifurcated into two parts. The real power, real power input, that is cos component, that's Vt square upon Zs cos of theta minus Vt square EF, not Vt square, Vt into EF upon Zs cos theta plus del. Here also theta ZS is approximately equals to iota XS. So the angle it becomes XS and angle 90 degree. So ZS can be this ZS and angle theta S can be write down XS and 90 degree. So this equation becomes our input equation is equal to Vt square upon XS, and this 90 cos 90 is 0 minus Vt square EF upon XS and cos 90 plus del. Cos 90 plus del is minus sin theta, so minus sin theta. So it is equals to, we can say power input of the synchronous motor, it is equals to, the one part is 0 and second part is Vt, not square, it is Vt. So it can be written out EF Vt upon XS sine of theta, not theta is 90 degree, del, sine of del. And if we are representing the Q input, motor takes the input reactive power. Synchronous motor takes the reactive power. So what the value of input reactive power? So that reactive power we can take the sine component of this one. So it is Vt square upon Zs sine of theta minus Vt EF upon Zs sine of theta plus del. So it is equals to Vt square upon, okay, otherwise theta we are taking 90 degree, here theta is 90 degree and Zs is, so Vt square upon XS and sine is becomes 1, sine theta is becomes 1, sine 90 is 1 minus this is the EF of Vt upon XS and sine 90 plus del, sine 90 plus theta is cos theta, cos del. So this is the value. So it is Vt square upon XS minus EF Vt upon XS cos of del. So this is the way we can represent the real power and reactive power Q. Real power and reactive power of a synchronous machine. So this is the way we can easily explain the real power and reactive power of a synchronous machine. But it is well defined equation for the powers. Now we will draw the capability curve of the synchronous machine. What the maximum power it can deliver. How the power equation, what the real part, what the reactive part, and what the total power. That capability curve will define. So we'll take the graphical representation of the capability curve. Firstly taking the graphical representation and then try to explain that what the capability curve of the synchronous machine and how we can explain. Capability curve of synchronous machine. Capability curve of synchronous machine. Capability. We know this is the terminal voltage Vt. This is the Ia. This is the Ia, and from the 90 degree of this Ia, this is from the 90 degree of this Ia, from the 90 degree of this Ia, this is EF. This is IAXS and this is EF. this is Vt. This angle is theta and this angle is del. Okay. So this is the normal curve. We are taking the two component of this one. This is Ia, XS. This angle is theta. This is 90 minus theta. This is the 90 minus theta. So this is the angle theta. Theta. So if this is theta, this is Ia. So this is Ia XS cos of theta, and this is Ia XS sin of theta. Sin of. We want to map this into the power equation. So we'll multiply this EF by Vt, EF itself divided by XS. So this is the maximum power. And if it's 3-phase machine, then further multiply by the 3. Okay. If it is 3-phase, then further multiply with the 3. Okay. The same factor, the factor is this one. You multiply it with here, multiply here, so it becomes 3 Vt square by XS. 3 Vt square by X. If this is multiplied with this one, so it is 3 Vt upon XS. So this XS get cancelled out with XS. So this is 3 Vt Ia sin of theta. Okay. If it is multiplied with this one, 3 Vt by XS. So this XS get cancelled out, so it becomes 3 Vt Ia cos of theta. So what happens? What happened? This is become the real component. This becomes the real component, the P, real component. This is the real part, real part. This is the reactive component of part. This is the reactive component of part. It is multiplied by this one. This is Vt into Ia into 3. So this is the total power. This is the total power. Total power. And what does this? This is power maximum possible. Maximum power output. Maximum power output. And what does this? Maximum reactive component or negative power. Negative power. So this is the graph can represent the power and it draw the power capability curve. I will draw the circle diagram or here, then the locus of this it represent the power output of a machine. Okay. So this is O we are taking as the center and M we are taking the radius. OM is the radius and draw a circle. So that circle represents the power output and that having the two components. If we are taking a more active power, when the circle reach over here, this is point is K point and this point is N point. So when the circle is reached at the point K, the power is real power. Total power becomes the real power. Total power becomes the real power. And when it is reached at point N, total power becomes reactive power. So this is the power, and this is nothing, it is the maximum possible power output, and this is the maximum value of the power angle. This is the del, and it is the maximum possible value of power, maximum value of the del angle, which is 90 degree, otherwise it is 90 degree, but always less than 90 degree, always less than 90 degree. So this is the maximum possible value of the del angle, maximum value of the del angle. Okay. So this is the value of maximum EF. Here are the EF max, maximum field current, allowable field current, allowable field current, allowed maximum power, allowed maximum active and reactive power, the component of active power and reactive power. So it depends upon if the dial angle is having some new value. Suppose that the dial angle is having the value is over here. If the dial angle having value over here, if the dial angle having value is this one, this is the dial angle, the new dial angle. So then what else? This is the value of reactive power Q. This is the value of active power P. And here the value is, this is the EF, maximum possible, and that is the power output. It should not be cross the maximum availability of power. Here, the generator's load should not exceed kVA rating of generator. Kilowatt load means real load, means real load. Should not exceed kilowatt rating of turbine. Turbine having real power rating, so the real part of the load should not be exceed that turbine rating, and power rating of the load should not be exceed the kVA rating of the generator. This and this is the one thing, this is the second thing, this is the third thing. Excitation like EF should not exceed EF maximum, that is the limit set by the machine, otherwise overheating on rotor. So this is the way we can define the capability limits of synchronous machines. Capability limits of the turbine, capability limit of alternator, capability limit of the excitation system, capability limit of the power output, real power output, reactive power output, total excitation, maximum possible power, and all that will define. In this way, you can understand very well about the synchronous machine's basic fundamental. In the next lecture, we will try to cover the two-field, not two-pole, two-field reaction theory, that is the reaction theory or fundamental working principle or fundamental concept of cell and pole synchronous machine. So in the next lecture, we'll try to cover the cell and pole synchronous machine. So in this lecture, it is sufficient to understand the basics of the synchronous machine, rotor, which is cylindrical type. So this is about the cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. I have lot of experience in electrical engineering to explain the working and concept of the electrical machine, circuit analysis, basics and numerical problems. I have 22 years of the experience. I see Shram Ola deal with all the electrical engineering subjects. So definitely you are benefited from my lectures. So definitely follow me and you will subscribe it. Definitely it is benefit for you. If not subscribed, then definitely subscribe today and you refer to your friends also. When you and your friends, go through the lectures and discuss it together, definitely it is very, very beneficial for you all. Thank you. Thanks a lot.